What happens when one of the most talked about women in the world sits down for what should be a simple morning interview, and it all explodes into chaos? In just 32 seconds, a single comment would ignite a firestorm that would end with security being called and cameras cutting to black. This is the story of the interview that nobody saw coming. It started like any other Thursday morning on the Today Show. The lights were bright, the coffee was hot, and Savannah Guthrie was ready to welcome her guest with the warmth and professionalism she'd become known for over her years behind that desk. But what was supposed to be a light conversation about charity work and new projects was about to become something else entirely. Meghan Markle walked onto the set with confidence. The cameras were rolling, the audience was watching, and Savannah stood up to greet her guest with a genuine smile and an outstretched hand. They exchanged pleasantries as Meghan settled into the chair across from her. Everything seemed perfectly normal. Everything seemed fine. Savannah began with a simple question, the kind of softball opener that every publicist dreams of. It's so wonderful to have you here this morning. You've been working on some incredible charitable initiatives. Can you tell our viewers what you've been focusing on lately? Meghan smiled, but there was something behind it, something that the viewers at home couldn't quite read yet. Well, Savannah, I appreciate you having me. Though I have to say, I'm a little surprised you're asking about charity work when there are so many other things we could be discussing. Savannah's expression remained pleasant, professional. She'd handled countless interviews with people from all walks of life. She knew how to navigate unexpected turns. Of course, we'd love to hear about whatever you'd like to share. What's on your mind? And that's when the temperature in the room began to shift. What's on my mind, Meghan said, leaning forward slightly, is how interesting it is that certain people get asked certain types of questions while others get very different treatment. Don't you think that's interesting, Savannah? The veteran host didn't miss a beat. Her voice stayed calm, her demeanor warm. I think every interview is unique to the guest and what they're doing at the time. We're here to talk about you and your work. That's what our viewers want to hear about. But Meghan wasn't satisfied with that answer. Not even close. Your viewers, she repeated, with an edge creeping into her voice. Let's talk about your viewers, Savannah. Do you think your viewers are getting the full story about anything? Or just the story that networks like this one want them to hear? Savannah could feel the interview slipping into dangerous territory, but she remained composed. This was live television. Millions were watching. She had to keep things on track. We pride ourselves on honest journalism here. If there's something specific you'd like to address, I'm happy to discuss it. Honest journalism, Meghan said, and there was no mistaking the sarcasm now. That's rich, really rich. You sit here every morning, and you smile, and you ask your little questions, and you pretend like you're giving people real information. But we both know what this really is. The crew behind the cameras exchanged glances. This wasn't going according to plan. Not at all. Savannah took a breath. She'd been in tough spots before. She knew how to handle this. Meghan, I understand you might have frustrations, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. If there's been coverage you disagreed with, we can certainly have that conversation. But I think our audience would love to hear about the positive work you're doing. There you go again, Meghan interrupted, her voice rising. Redirecting, deflecting. That's what you people do, isn't it? You people with your cozy little jobs and your perfect little setups. You have no idea what it's like to be scrutinized the way I've been scrutinized. Savannah's professionalism never wavered, even as the tension became almost unbearable. I can only imagine how difficult that must be. Truly. But this is a space where we can have a real conversation. I'm here to listen. Listen? Meghan's laugh was sharp. You're not here to listen. You're here to get your soundbite and move on to the next segment. Just like everyone else, just like all of you in this industry. The host maintained her composure beautifully, even as viewers at home could feel the awkwardness through their screens. I understand you're upset, and that's okay. But I think if we could just refocus on why you're here today, why I'm here. Meghan cut her off again. I'm here because my team thought it would be good publicity. That's the only reason anyone comes on these shows, Savannah. Let's not pretend this is about anything meaningful. Savannah's voice remained steady, kind even. I think our platform has given voice to many important conversations over the years, and we hope to give you that opportunity today as well. But Meghan was just getting started. You know what your problem is? She said, pointing a finger across the desk. Your problem is that you sit in that chair and you think you're untouchable. You think because you have this show and these cameras that you're somehow better than the people you interview. Well, let me tell you something. You're not. The gasps from the crew were audible now. This had crossed a line. Several lines. Savannah's face showed the slightest flicker of something. Hurt, maybe, or disbelief, but her voice stayed level. I have never thought I was better than anyone. I respect every single person who sits in that chair across from me, including you. Respect? Meghan's voice dripped with disdain. Is that what you call the way you people have treated me and my family? Respect? That's a joke. Meghan, Savannah said, gently, trying one more time to bring things back from the edge. I understand there's been difficult coverage in the media, but I'm not responsible for everything that's been written or said. I'm here, right now, trying to have a conversation with you. A conversation? Meghan stood up now, her mic still attached. This isn't a conversation. This is a performance. And I'm done performing for people like you. Savannah remained seated, her hands folded calmly on the desk. I'm sorry you feel that way, but you're welcome to stay, and we can talk through whatever is bothering you. What's bothering me? Meghan said, her voice loud enough that every corner of the studio could hear, is that people like you get to sit here and judge people like me, and nobody ever questions you. Nobody ever asks you the hard questions. Nobody ever holds you accountable. The producer in the control room was frantically trying to figure out what to do. Cut to commercial? Keep rolling? This was unprecedented. Savannah finally stood, matching her guest's energy with calm authority. Meghan, I think we need to take a break. Let's talk off camera for a moment. Off camera? Meghan laughed again, that same sharp sound. So you can control the narrative even more? No, thank you. I'll say what I have to say right here, right now, where everyone can hear it. That's your choice, Savannah said, her professionalism somehow still intact. But I'd ask you to please be respectful. There are people working here who don't deserve to be spoken to this way. Respectful? Meghan's eyes flashed. You want to talk to me about respect? After everything? After the way I've been treated by this entire industry? You have some nerve, Savannah. You really do. The host took a small step back, creating space, maintaining her dignity. I understand you're angry, but this isn't productive. If you'd like to continue this conversation in a constructive way, I'm here. If not, then perhaps it's best if we end the interview. Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you? Meghan shot back. Cut me off. Shut me down. Make me look like the crazy one. That's what you people do. Savannah's voice was firm now, though still kind. Nobody is trying to make you look any way, but you're being hostile, and I don't think that's fair to anyone here. Fair? Meghan practically shouted. You want to talk to me about fair? Nothing about any of this has been fair. Nothing about the way I've been treated has been fair. And now you're going to stand there and lecture me about fairness. One of the producers had quietly walked onto the set, hovering near the edge, ready to intervene if needed. Savannah noticed, but kept her focus on her guest. I'm not lecturing you. I'm trying to understand what you need from this conversation. But if all you want to do is attack me and my colleagues, then I don't think we can continue. Your colleagues, Meghan said mockingly. Your precious colleagues. Do you know what it's like to have every single thing you do picked apart? Every word analyzed? Every outfit criticized? No, you don't. Because you're protected. You're safe up here in your little bubble. I'm not protected from anything, Savannah replied quietly. I've faced plenty of criticism in my career, but I don't take it out on people who are just trying to do their jobs. That seemed to hit a nerve. Just trying to do your jobs? Meghan's voice went up another notch. Your job is to tear people down. Your job is to create drama and conflict and make people like me look bad so that people like you can feel superior. The producer took another step closer. Security had been quietly alerted. Savannah shook her head slowly. That's not what we do here, and I think deep down you know that. Whatever you're going through, whatever pain you're feeling, I'm truly sorry. But you can't come on this show and attack me personally. That's not okay. I'll do whatever I want, Meghan said defiantly. You don't get to tell me what's okay and what's not okay. You don't get to control me. Nobody is trying to control you, Savannah said, her patience seemingly endless. But this is a workplace. There are standards of behavior, and right now, you're crossing those lines. Meghan looked around at the crew, at the cameras, at the producer inching closer. Of course, now I'm the problem. Now I'm the one who's out of line. Never mind everything that led to this moment. Never mind the years of abuse and harassment and lies. I'm not dismissing any of that, Savannah said softly. But this, what's happening right now, isn't about that. This is about how you're choosing to behave in this moment. Choosing? Meghan's voice cracked slightly. You think I'm choosing this? You think I want to be standing here like this? This is what you people have pushed me to. This is what happens when someone finally has enough. Savannah's eyes showed genuine concern now. Then let's stop. Let's just stop the interview. You can leave, take some time, and if you want to come back and have a real conversation another day, we can do that. I'm not coming back here, Meghan said firmly. I'm not coming back to any of these shows. I'm done with all of you. That's your choice, Savannah replied. But I hope you'll reconsider when you've had time to calm down. And that's when Meghan said the thing that would make headlines everywhere. Calm down. Her voice was ice cold now. You're telling me to calm down? You pompous, self-righteous, holier-than-thou excuse for a journalist. You wouldn't know real journalism if it bit you. You're a puppet. A corporate puppet reading lines from a teleprompter and pretending it's meaningful. The studio went silent. Completely silent. Savannah's face flushed slightly, but her voice remained controlled. I think you need to leave now. Oh, I'm leaving, Meghan said, reaching up to rip off her microphone. I wouldn't stay here another second. If you paid me. This show, this network, all of it, it's garbage. You're garbage, Savannah, and everyone watching knows it. The producer rushed forward then, along with 2 security personnel who had been standing by. Ma'am, we need you to come with us, one of them said, calmly but firmly. Meghan turned on them. Don't touch me. I'm leaving on my own. But as she stormed toward the exit, she turned back one more time. You'll regret this, Savannah. All of you will regret this. You think you can treat people the way you've treated me and there won't be consequences? Just wait. Savannah stood there, watching her guest leave, her face a mixture of sadness and professionalism. She turned to the camera, took a breath, and spoke directly to the viewers. I apologize to everyone watching. That was unexpected. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. The camera cut away, but the damage was done. Behind the scenes, the crew stood in stunned silence. Savannah sat back down at the desk, her hands shaking slightly despite her outward calm. She'd handled the situation with grace and dignity, never raising her voice, never stooping to insults, never losing her composure, even as everything fell apart around her. The producer approached her quietly. Are you okay? Savannah nodded, though her eyes were glistening. I'm fine. Did we record all of that? Every second. Good, she said softly. People need to see what actually happened. In the hallway, security was escorting Meghan toward the exit. She was still fuming, still muttering about injustice and mistreatment, and how everyone would pay for this. Her publicist, who had been waiting in the green room, rushed out looking horrified. What happened? What did you do? What did I do? Meghan spun around. I finally told the truth. That's what I did. This is a disaster, the publicist said, already pulling out her phone. This is an absolute disaster. No, Meghan said firmly. This is me taking control. This is me not letting them push me around anymore. But as she reached the exit and stepped out into the bright morning light, something seemed to shift in her expression. Just for a moment. A flicker of doubt. Maybe even regret. Back in the studio, Savannah was having her makeup touched up before they went back on air. Her co-hosts had gathered around, offering support, and asking if she wanted to address what had happened. We'll mention it briefly, she decided, but I'm not going to trash her. Whatever she's going through, it's clearly painful. I don't want to make it worse. That was the kind of person Savannah was. Even after being verbally attacked, insulted, and berated on live television, her instinct was compassion. Her instinct was kindness. When they came back from commercial, Savannah addressed the viewers with characteristic professionalism. Welcome back. As you all saw, our interview with Meghan Markle took an unexpected turn. These things happen in live television. We wish her well, and we're going to move forward with the rest of our show. No drama, no retaliation, just grace. The contrast couldn't have been more stark. One woman acting out of anger and entitlement, feeling that the world owed her something, that she deserved special treatment, that everyone around her was the problem. The other woman doing her job with integrity, treating her guest with respect, even when that respect wasn't returned, maintaining her composure when it would have been so easy to lose it. Savannah had asked simple questions. She'd been welcoming from the very beginning. She'd tried to redirect multiple times throughout the conversation. She'd shown patience that seemed almost endless. It's about the moment when Meghan walked onto that set and decided that instead of having a normal conversation, she was going to make it about her grievances. And it's about how Savannah handled that situation with incredible grace. Imagine you're at work, doing your job, trying your best to be professional and kind, and someone comes in and starts attacking you personally, calling you names, insulting your integrity, questioning your character, doing it all in front of millions of people. How would you react? Most people would snap back. Most people would defend themselves aggressively. Most people would let their own anger rise to meet the anger being directed at them. But Savannah didn't do that. She stayed calm. She stayed kind. She tried to understand. And the way Meghan stormed off that set, ripping off her microphone, hurling insults, making threats, it painted a clear picture. This wasn't someone taking a brave stand. This was someone having a meltdown. This wasn't someone speaking truth to power. This was someone lashing out because they couldn't control the narrative. The security footage from the hallways showed Meghan continuing to rant as she was escorted out. She was pointing fingers, raising her voice, refusing to accept any responsibility for what had just happened. Back in the studio, Savannah's colleagues were praising how she'd handled the situation. "I don't know how you stayed so calm," one of them said. "I would have lost it." "What good would that have done?" Savannah replied. She was clearly upset about something. Getting upset back wouldn't have helped anyone. That perspective, that wisdom, that maturity. It's what separated someone like Savannah, a seasoned professional who understood that not everything is about you, from someone like Meghan, who seemed to think everything was about her. The interview that was supposed to be about charity work and positive projects had turned into a spectacle, but not the kind of spectacle Meghan probably thought she was creating. She likely thought she was being brave, standing up, refusing to be pushed around, making a statement, But what actually happened was that she looked entitled. She looked unstable. She looked like someone who couldn't handle a simple interview without making it into a personal battlefield. And Savannah? She looked like exactly what she was. A professional. A kind person. Someone who treats others with dignity, even when they don't deserve it. The cameras had captured everything. Every word. Every expression. Every moment of the escalation. And anyone watching could see clearly who was trying to have a normal conversation and who was determined to create chaos. Savannah had asked simple questions. She'd been welcoming. She'd tried to redirect multiple times. She'd shown patience that bordered on saintly. Meghan had been defensive from the start. She'd interpreted kindness as condescension. She'd looked for problems where none existed. She'd escalated at every turn. When Savannah suggested taking a break, Meghan refused and continued her tirade. When Savannah showed concern, Meghan threw it back in her face. When Savannah maintained boundaries, Meghan called her controlling. There was no winning with someone determined to be a victim. No matter what Savannah said or did, it was going to be wrong in Meghan's eyes. That's what made the whole thing so frustrating to watch. Here was this host, trying so hard to make things work, to give her guest every opportunity. And it wasn't enough. It was never going to be enough. Because this wasn't really about Savannah, or the Today Show, or that particular interview. This was about someone carrying around pain and anger and deciding to unleash it on whoever was in front of them. And Savannah just happened to be sitting in that chair on that particular morning. The way she maintained her composure through all of it, the way she never once raised her voice or responded with equal hostility, it was a master class in professionalism. She could have fought back. She could have defended herself more aggressively. She could have pointed out how inappropriate Meghan was being, but she didn't, because she understood something important. Sometimes the best response is no response. Sometimes the best way to handle someone attacking you is to simply remain calm and let their behavior speak for itself. And boy, did Meghan's behavior speak volumes. Every insult, every accusation, every hostile word, it all reflected back on her, not on Savannah. The veteran host had nothing to apologize for. She'd done everything right. She'd been kind, patient, professional, and respectful. Meghan, on the other hand, had burned every bridge in that room. She'd insulted the crew. She'd attacked the host. She'd made a scene that would follow her forever. As the security guards finally got her to the exit, as she stepped out of that building and into the waiting car, the weight of what had just happened must have started to sink in. Because there's no taking back what happened. There's no pretending it didn't occur. The cameras caught everything. And unlike other interviews where things can be edited or smoothed over, this was live. This was raw. This was real. Millions of people had watched the whole thing unfold in real time. They'd seen exactly how it started, how it escalated, and how it ended. They'd seen Savannah's grace and Meghan's rage. They'd seen professionalism and entitlement go head to head, and there was no question about who came out of that interview looking good. Inside the studio, as the show continued, there was a sense of relief. They'd gotten through it. They'd handled an incredibly difficult situation and come out okay. Savannah, in particular, had shown why she'd earned that chair, why she was trusted by millions of viewers, why she was respected by her peers. She'd faced down hostility with kindness. She'd met anger with calm. She'd responded to insults with dignity. That's leadership. That's character. That's class. And in the end, that's what people would remember about that morning. Not the accusations, or the insults, or the dramatic exit, but the way one woman handled chaos with grace, while another woman created chaos out of nothing. The interview that was supposed to be routine had become unforgettable, but not for the reasons anyone expected. It became a reminder that how we treat people, especially when we're upset, reveals who we really are. It became a demonstration of what real professionalism looks like under pressure, and it became a stark contrast between someone who builds people up and someone who tears them down. Savannah Guthrie sat in that chair and did her job with integrity and kindness. Meghan Markle sat in that chair and showed the world what entitlement looks like when it doesn't get its way. One moment, one interview, 32 seconds was all it took to set everything in motion. And by the time those studio doors closed behind that angry guest, everyone watching knew exactly what they'd witnessed. Not a brave stand against injustice, not speaking truth to power, not taking control of a narrative, but a complete meltdown, a bridge burning, a reputation cratering, all while one calm, professional host maintained her dignity and proved exactly why she deserved the respect she'd earned.